Good evening, everybody. We stopped on page 12. The well-maintained house was not a mansion, but it was much bigger than Kyle's, and most of the other houses in Chicagoland. It was situated on the corner of LaGrange Road and Goodman Street, on a plot of land that used to belong to 3 houses before LaGrange became an upscale neighborhood. The white pillars on the front made it look larger than it was, and the garden neatly surrounding the front stairs made it look much more peaceful than it ever could be with children living in it. The backyard was fenced, and the 2-car garage was attached to the house. The driveway extended from the front to the side, making a convenient loop. A swing set in the back was shrouded by bushes along the side, making it safer for the children to run outside and play. And the electric fence allowed the puppy to roam freely, since the real fence was not enclosed. All in all, it was a beautiful home. The second she got in the door, the security alarm went off, and Quigley, her 1-year-old beagle, came running up to her and jumped in the air, trying to lick her. She shut off the alarm, put her bag down, hung up her coat, and greeted Quigley. Not long after she had gotten in the door, Connor came down the front stairs. His golf shirt had a spaghetti stain on the front, his red hair was ruffled, and he didn't look happy. "Where have you been?" he asked, his Irish accent thicker than usual. Kerry automatically knew he was peeved. "I was worried. You didn't call, you didn't send any notice. I knew you were working, but I never know whether you're safe or not when you block out communications for 7 hours. I'm sorry, I had to finish up this case. We got a lead and we couldn't pass up, and if we had gotten there 1 minute and 30 seconds later, a 7-year-old boy wouldn't be here anymore. How was your day?" He hugged her and kissed her on the lips, the concern not quite vanishing from his face. 1 minute and 30 seconds. That sounds like a bomb. She smiled. "Everything's fine. The 7-year-old, my team, everybody's absolutely fine." "How was your day?" she asked again. "Where are the boys?" He sighed. "It's 2100, Kerry. The boys are in bed. I hardly got any work done today. Aiden didn't want to go to school, and they were both late. I had to take Quigley to the vet. He's got an ear infection." Quigley barked at the sound of his name, and Connor had to smile at the dog. He reached down and petted him. "Why didn't Aiden want to go to school?" "I don't know. He's usually so excited about it. I drove them after I managed to drag Aiden out of bed. Patrick had a presentation he wanted to show you if you got home in time. He spent hours on it. Got a 100% when he showed it to the class today. It's on penguins." Kerry sighed. "I'm sorry I missed it. He can show me tomorrow. We're almost done with this case. I'm sure I'll be home for dinner tomorrow. So did you figure out why Aiden didn't want to go to school?" "He wouldn't tell me at first, but eventually he admitted he was having trouble with a group of bullies, when Patrick left the car." "Did you tell the headmaster?" Kerry asked as they walked into the kitchen together. "I spoke to her. She says she'll look into it. I'm thinking we should pull Aiden and Patrick out of there. The administration isn't doing anything productive about their abilities. They should both be moved up. If they get A's on everything they do, you'd think they'd catch on that there's a placement error. We've been through this. The choices didn't show them to be behaviorally ready. And anyway, where are they going to go? Any other private school is too expensive, and they've got a scholarship here. We'd never re-qualify for another scholarship if we applied now. Maybe once they're out of lower school, they'll move up." Connor sighed. "I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to start looking into other private schools, and I'd like your help." "I'll try, Connor, but if I'm in the middle of a case..." I know, he resigned. "Insurance company called. They said they fixed the error, and we should be okay now. I was on the phone for 2 hours trying to figure that one out. I made you dinner. It's in the pod." "Spaghetti?" she asked with a smile. "Oh, how'd you..." "Oh," he said, looking down at his shirt. She chuckled and walked into the kitchen. "How's the book coming?" "I'm still on page 80. I can't decide whether to kill Janet off or not." "It'd make it more interesting. Make Henry's character more complex if he's dealing with a death." "I guess, but I'm not sure if I want to put him in shock so early in the story." "So kill Janet off later when Henry's already discovered the secret to the tomb." "I thought of that too, but then he probably wouldn't go in. Not if Janet's dead." She smiled. "Well, you have a predicament." "I do," he said. "I'll figure it out." He sighed. "In between everything else." He sat down at the table as she heated up dinner in the micro. "Have you seen that video of the priest's wife?" He adjusted his voice and practically sang soprano as he imitated the woman's rapid-fire internet comedy. Looking for a Sunday school to get the kids to follow the rules, no texting at the table, or I'll hit you with the ladle when I'm waiting on the parkway for a freaking truck to pave the way. I'll be talking to insurance guys for some reason think I'm not alive, and you dare to ask me why I scoff? It's a wonder my ears don't fall off. Your mouth's going to fall off too if you keep talking so quickly, she joked. He rolled his eyes and smirked playfully. That's only the first stanza. Spare me the rest. When are Aiden and Patrick's next choices? Maybe they'll test as behaviorally ready to move up this time. 2 weeks, Connor answered. Patrick's nervous. He's got a bigger choice coming up than Aiden. He's got to decide what he's doing next year for classes. Changing from the first semester of third grade to the second semester of third grade subjects was one of the biggest choices one made. It was the first choice where one had to decide if one was more inclined towards certain subjects, and the first choice that had any real consequences. One could always go back and change their answer, but the change wouldn't be instated until their first holiday break, unless the children were in danger of failing. I'll have to talk to Patrick. What's Aiden going to do for his first sport? That's something he isn't sure of. He's thinking about soccer, but Patrick didn't help that endeavor at all by telling him he sucked at it. Patrick said that to him? Yesterday, Connor said. I told you that yesterday, too. Kerry sighed. I'm sorry. I should have talked to him about that. It's okay, he's already corrected. They continued talking about their two boys as Kerry ate her dinner, and once she was done, they walked quietly upstairs and looked into their boys' rooms. Kerry started with Aiden, since his room was the closest to the stairs. She smiled at her sleeping little 6-year-old and thought about Kyle. The poor little boy wasn't going to get any sleep in his own bed tonight, and he wasn't going to get to see his father tonight either. He'd get a bed to sleep in, but it would be strange, and he would no doubt be scared. She closed Aiden's door softly and turned to Connor, giving him a hug. Connor, somewhat puzzled, embraced his wife and surmised her display of affection was due to something that had happened today at work. It was especially reasonable if he was correct about the bomb. His previous frustration and anger had abated enough that he resolved to comfort his wife tonight. He knew she needed it. And we'll read Chapter 2 tomorrow.